All right, good afternoon and welcome to our fast track registration to residency of RadTech in Australia. So I'll be discussing today APRA and MERT pathways for our medical radiographer. No? So this is a full discussion on how RPS migration services and Australian certified trainers can help our medical diagnostic radiographer get their registration and residency in Australia. So my name is Attorney Renante Pisulit, your registered migration agent in Australia with MARA number 1382407. I am the CEO of RPS Migration Services. The website is www.rbsmigration.com.au. We are based in Melbourne, Australia, at level 7, 470 Collins Street. I highly specialize in medical professionals such as nurses, rad tech, med tech, doctors, dentists, physiotherapists, and all others. Our offices are also located in Dubai, Singapore, and in the Philippines in various locations. So we have Makati, we have Baguio, Batangas, we have Iloilo, Davao, as well as in Zamboanga. Now, RPS Migration Services is headed by myself, being registered migration agent. So, um, meaning to say that you are well covered, no? Because you are being assisted by a registered migration agent. Now, aside from RPS Migration Services, we do have Australian certified trainers. That is the training arm of RPS Migration Services. That is also located in Melbourne, Australia. Okay. All right, let's talk about the medical radiation practice in Australia. So it's the medical radiation practice in Australia supports safe practice by adhering to published regulatory standards, codes, guidelines, updates, and other resources for medical radiation practitioners, employers, students, and the public. In terms of operation, the role of diagnostic radiographer has been on the skills list for over a decade now. Okay. So, serving as a pathway for obtaining a working or residency visa in Australia. So here, in the text, we can see the medical radiation practice, no, in Australia, and of course, the medical diagnostic radiographer. So in Australia, so we do have the list that is called the medium term list or the short term list, and medical diagnostic radiographer has been there for over a decade because I have been practicing in immigration for over a decade. And this means to say that you can use that skill in order to progress on your migration application, whether it is a working visa or a a residency visa, because it's very impossible for you to apply for residency if your skill is not on the list. You are very lucky being a medical diagnostic radiographer because that skill has been there for so many years, for over a decade, because there is a huge demand of rad tech in Australia. I would like to reiterate that um this free information seminar is not a recruitment for a job. Okay, so our goal is for you to get registered in Australia and to get your residency. It's not about getting a job, no, it's about fulfilling your registration process, no requirements, so that you may explore job opportunities. No? So RPS Migration Services is not a recruitment firm. So having said that, we are not going to talk about the recruitment of medical radiographer, but this will help you become a registered radiographer and resident in Australia. So today I'm going to have a discussion of APRA pathway, the explanation of ASMERT pathway, what is ACT MRPE review, and what is RPS migration assistance, and the timeline with costs and charges. So these and more are the topics that I'm going to discuss today. All right, let's talk about why RPS ACT matters. So these are two organizations located in Australia, and I own these organizations. No, they are sitting in Collins Street in Australia. So because RPS ACT is a one-stop shop. So we are in charge of all your immigration processes because in this process you will have that residency pathway. So meaning to say that I am in charge of your visa relating to settling to Australia, no? So that is about residency visa. Let's see. um, so we can mute ourselves so that we mute. Okay, right. Say, for example, if you have sought an employer in Australia, and if you need a working visa process assistance, so we can do that, and that is called the subclass 4A2 visa assistance. All right. So we provide MRPE and English proficiency review. So whatever service or whatever trainings that are needed in this kind of process, we provide the training. So you don't need to look any further. You're not going to research anything because we are going to provide you that training. No? So next, you are being assisted by a registered migration agent. So I have been in this immigration practice for over a decade now with registration of good standing. So with offices in several locations that can assist all our clients concerned. So we are, you can reach us anytime. Of course, during the weekend, there is a if you send us a message, of course, the following week, no, on Monday, you will be answered. So, however, some of our case officers are working tirelessly, working with commitment. So sometimes they also answer some queries, no? So, and I would like to remind, no, everyone that the information I am providing here in my information session is is a product of my intellectual property, no? So I am not here to provide like information that you can do it yourself. So this is very customized on how we do things, no, under RPS ACT. So what I am going to discuss here may not fit, no, may not fit other agencies' procedures or your if you are planning to do it yourself, so it will not fit because I see to it that what I am discussing here are the ways we do here. We do it in RPS ACT. Okay. Now, a registered migration agent is very important because if something happens in your application, in the long run, so you can ask. Now there is a recourse. So because sometimes I in my practice for over a decade, there are people who ask me question at the outset, then suddenly they did it themselves, and after they came back to me and instead of saving time and saving money, effort, it has ballooned into like a very risky application. So, so those are the things that we would like to prevent, no? RPSACT is also the pioneer in the field of rad tech in Australia. So because we are studying continuously, we are providing innovations in all our programs, and we have created pathways for medical diagnostic radiographer for both working and residency visa. Before, the only pathway for our medical radiographer coming from the Philippines is through the bachelor degree in Australia. However, through RPS Migration Services in ACT, we have created another pathway that can be a substitute to a bachelor degree because it is a cost effective, no? It is a cost effective pathway, no? RPS ACT have created a cost effective pathway for our medical diagnostic radiographer. So I hope that sooner and that I hope that APRA, no, through MRPE will not change the pathway because it's always changing in Australia. If they notice that something is like, oh, there is a huge number of medical radiographer now building up, and who is the culprit for this? Oh, RPS ACT. So I hope that they will not change the way they are doing it right now. That's why we are we are encouraging our clients to do it urgently because the change is not yet there. So because I noticed that APRA has convened or has been asking the public for some consultation insofar as RadTech or medical radiation practice is concerned in Australia. If there is a consultation like that, they are going to prepare a change or they're going to introduce changes, no? But not yet today, maybe in the coming years. That's why we are encouraging our clients who would like to become a registered rad tech and resident in Australia to do it now. Of course, I have a proven track record, no, in Australia that is a public knowledge. That's why RPS has grown into an empire in just a matter of in just few years of its existence in Australia because we highly specialize in medical professionals and we deliver all our goals, no? So we are always there. So these are the reasons on why you should consider RPS ACT. All right, so what is MRPE or the Medical Radiation Practitioners Examination? So this is a national exam for medical radiation practice or medical diagnostic radiographer in Australia and designed to assess the entry-level professional capabilities for the three divisions of the field. It objectively measures an individual's ability to review, critique, analyze, consolidate, and synthesize knowledge while applying professional judgment in alignment with established capabilities. Now, so the number one concern of opera is safe practice, no? It's like with nurses. If you are not a safe practitioner, so you will not be given registration in Australia because that is provided in the law, no? In the national health law in Australia, that the medical practitioners must be safe practitioners because the public, no? The um, they are considering the public safety in Australia. And here you can also notice the entry level professional. So meaning to say that the examination will not be dealing to a specialized field. They will be dealing on the entry level professional, the basic one, no? So say for example, if you have like a drug calculation or a medication administration or something like that. So it's all about the entry level only. You will not be asked about the advanced process, no? So what is basic will be given in the national examination. Now, the Medical Radiation Practice Board for Australia may require this exam in several situations. Number one, before making a decision, an application for registration, when a candidate is not qualified for general registration, or if a candidate is returning to practice after a significant break. So, meaning to say that there are only three situations before. Number one, before making a decision, an application for registration. Say, for example, you are an international practitioner, an overseas qualified practitioner from the Philippines, and you are applying for registration in Australia as a medical diagnostic radiographer. So the board, the MRP board, no, will decide whether you are going to take the examination or not. So if you are required to take the examination, then they are going to decide on your application for registration after passing your national exam. Okay. So number two situation is when a candidate is not qualified for general registration, you will be required as well for the examination. Say for example, for other candidates, not for other countries, they apply for general registration. So they may require the national exam. And of course, if a candidate is returning to practice after a significant break. So this contemplates a former or a previous non-practicing non-practicing medical diagnostic radiographer who used to be a registered radiographer in Australia, and then after 10 years she would like to go back, then another examination will be given to her. So that's why if you get your registration in Australia, you really have to practice as a rad tech, no? Now let's talk about the pass mark of the examination. So the board calibrates the exam regularly using final year students and recent graduates establish baseline performance. The current pass mark for the exam is a minimum of 65% in both Part A and Part B. So Part A is the common capabilities and Part B is the division specific capabilities um, for the specifics, no, of what are common capabilities and what are division specific capabilities that will be discussed in your review, no, with ACT. Now, but what you should know is you must score at least 65 in both Part A and Part B. So that's why here in Australia, we don't have top one, top two, top three, something like that. So as long as you reach the mark of 65, you pass. The pass mark, something like that. Now, limit on the number of attempts. Though RadTex is very unique because it is the only medical professional field in Australia that has the limit on the number of attempts. If a candidate has attempted and failed the exam 3 times, they will not be allowed to attempt or register to sit the exam again. You see, 3 times only. So that's why it's very important for you to really focus on your examination. We do have several clients, no? We do have several clients that who came to us for help At first, they attended the seminar, with me. And after that, they did it themselves. Then they failed, no? And then the second time, they failed. If they would fail again, therefore, they cannot take the examination again. So So these clients came to us and asked for help, no? And then of course we accommodated and helped them. And then uh after taking the examination, after taking the review and taking the examination, they already passed it. You see? So you should not waste time, you should not waste effort because doing it ourselves, no, is sometimes very risky, especially if this is something that that is very new, no, in your field. Requirements for taking the examination: you must have at least a 1 year of experience. So this is also very, very good. It can be a, it is also a requirement for a working visa in Australia. So that's part of the change. So it is very interesting to note that APRA, not through MRPE or MRPB board, the board considers only 1 year of experience, and that's the recency of practice. And then the PTE all 66. So as you can see, this 66 is part of the change as well. So in reading, speaking, and listening, you must score at least 66, and in writing, you may score at least 56. But of course, the overall must be 66. You can use a combination of that. So we will be explaining more of that when we orient you in after engaging RPS. Though the continuing professional development from the time you graduated, you should have the CPD, no? What's the counterpart of CPD in the Philippines? It's about the seminars, no, the seminars that you are doing, no, in that you are submitting to PRC. So that's called the continuing professional development. The international criminal history check. This is not the this is not the NBI, no. So this ICHC is will be done by a third party organization on your behalf. So you are going to pay a third party organization, which we are going to provide. Then they are going to check your criminal record, no? So, and then they will give us the reference number, and that will be submitted to APRA as well. And then you will be given the APRA referral letter. So this is very important because you cannot sit for the exam without this referral letter. You may sit the exam at home, no, through remote, no, through remote invigilator. So through remote proctor, because they will give you the program. And sometimes there are testing centers overseas as well. So they are going to provide that in the email. Let's continue. Now let's look at the ACT review. So while we are waiting for your APRA referral letter, you are now reviewing with ACT for MRPE, no? So we are not wasting time. The moment, no? The moment you engage RPS migration, we are going to encourage you to review right away for the MRPE, because it has the monthly cycle. It the next is n- and the platform is very highly interactive. The focus on modality being measured will be discussed, no? And we have the unlimited quizzes, and we have the Q bank. Some of the feedbacks of our clients who took the examination last January or last April, they said that most of the questions, most of the discussions that they did in the review, no, were given. So that is uh that is a plus, no? That's why we do have 7 passers of RadTech last April cycle. All right. So now, if you pass the MRPE, you will be qualified for the subclass for A2, no? Because um your qualifications have been assessed by APRA because you have 1 year of experience and you pass the MRPE, then therefore you can apply for the job. Again, RPS Migration Services will not give you any assistance on job hunting because we are not allowed, no? It's not that we don't want, we are not allowed because we are not a recruitment agency, no? um we might say, we might tell you to apply, no, we are going to give you work to get the job, no? That's only thing that we can do for you, no? And then the subclass 482 is also a pathway for residency because once you once you work for 2 years and your employer would like to sponsor you again for residency, then they can. Because that is the change, no? That is the change in subclass 482. Aside from 1 year of experience, it's also a pathway to becoming a resident in Australia. So what are the benefits of subclass 482? Of course, you can bring your family right away in Australia, no? Improves the skill set of the candidate. So because you are already working in Australia, so you are gaining points as well, and you are being exposed to Australian workforce and the Australian procedures, so you are improving your skill set. And it is also a pathway for residency. Okay. Now let's look at the passer of our MRPE this last April. So Mr. Cuevas, no, Mr. Cuevas is currently on a student visa and is exploring his pathway to residency. Having fallen short of the academic requirements, no, he sought the assistance of RPS ACT to create an alternative pathway. After a thorough review with ACT, he is now a registered RadTech in Australia and is actively seeking employment opportunities. You see? Because sometimes your practice has a gap, no? Your practice is uh you have so many issues in your practice. So what we do is that we analyze your CV, we analyze your experience, and we are going to give you the advice. And look at Mr. Cuevas, then he passed it right away. So he is very happy. Now, so from student visa, he can change to a working visa if he is lucky to get an employer. Now, Bettina, no? Bettina received a negative assessment from ASMERT, so I'm going to discuss the ASMERT later, but that did not deter her from seeking an alternative route to become a registered rad tech in Australia, which could potentially lead to residency. After reviewing her options with ACT, she found that the discussions during the review greatly helped her successfully pass the MRPE. Now, the ASMERT is the skill assessing body of RadTech, and the nature of which will be discussed later. No? So, because this ASMER gives you right away the right to apply for residency route, not it gives you the pathway to residency right away, no? But of course, through several processes as well. Um, and then she had the negative assessment because her practice is found wanting on something. So as Mert said, on that occasion, they're going to reject it. They're going to give a negative assessment. But what Bettina did, she did the examination, and then once she got once she get an employer, no, she will be working on that skill and then get another assessment, and hopefully she will get a positive assessment, and of course she can apply for residency as well. Look at Chris, no, Christy. She was a top 9 placer, no, top 9 in the 2017 RRT board in the Philippines. Currently, she is on student visa, exploring pathways to become a registered rad tech. With the assistance of ACT, she has once again excelled in her pursuits. You see now? So, a top-notcher from the Philippines, now a registered rad tech in Australia. So we have Rashid Shiner of University of La Salette. So we have Celine de la Cruz of UK, and of course Hazel Aklon. As you can see, this is very interesting. This one, Celine de la Cruz, a registered RadTech in UK. So you might be thinking that if you are a registered RadTech in UK, you might be registered in Australia because they are both Commonwealth, right? Or you might be thinking that UK is superior from Australia or whatever. So, but it doesn't go that way because they have their own standards, no? And they are different countries, though they are both Commonwealth. So, even though you did the examination in UK, it doesn't give you the right to get the mutual recognition of your rad tech in Australia. So what Celine did was to to ask ACT, no, to review her, not to join the review, and then she did the examination and passed it. Now she is a registered drug tech as well in Australia, and that opens opportunity for her to apply for the job and a working visa that will lead her to residency as well. We have here Hazel Aklan as well from Medical Colleges of Northern Philippines. So in our demographics, no, Medical Colleges of Northern Philippines is number one because we do have so many pulsers from Medical Colleges of Northern Philippines. I think we already had 4 or 5, no? So here we have Alaisa Pavian, no, from De La Salle Institute of Health and Management of I think from Cavite. Okay, so those are our passers last April, and I hope that you will be the next batch of our passers of MRPE, no, in the days to come. Now, what are the steps in getting your registration? In Australia, the words are becoming smaller and smaller. So your registration become rego, no? Rego. So if you hear rego, that is registration. Before you get your registration in Australia as medical diagnostic radiographer, there are several steps and requirements that you need to comply. Number one, the PTE review with ACT. So our PTE review with ACT is an e-learning hub, no? PTE e-learning hub, meaning to say that we are departing from the usual teacher teacher student or the coach student, no? Having it one-on-one. So you are going to access the learning platform, and there are several video tutorials, and then they will ask you to do the practice sessions or to do the practice exercises, and you should have the output, then submit the output, and then the team will check your output and send it to you as well, no? So that's the beauty of the PTE review with ACT, because you can do it at your own pace. You are not required to attend for example, every day session, because you can do it at your most convenient time, and your output will be checked, no, once you submit them. Next, the documentation. The documentation at RPS Microservices is very good, no? So because number one, we are going to advise you on how to certify the documents correctly. So because we have doing this for so many years, what's the difference between a certified true copy with a picture and without the picture, and who are those people who can certify your documents? All right. Next is the MRPE review with ACT. So let me see. The MRPE review, so these are the steps and the post-registration and the requirements for practice. I think we are going to, so the MRPE review with ACT is a top-notch experience because you will have the access in our learning platform. We do have the QBank. We do have as well the practice sessions, and you have the interactive sessions every weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. You have 5 sessions, and that is enough for you to pass the examination. All right. So, because aside from the lecture, you have your platform which you can access, no, anytime, anywhere, and that is your advantage. And it is Australia based, no, not anywhere. And we have the system. We are not like the pop-up shop. No, what do you mean by pop-up shop? Pop-up shops is something like, oh, for example, she passed or he passed the MRPE and now she will be or he will be offering classes. So that's very dangerous, no? So because you will be the guinea pig, all right? So and you don't have it doesn't it doesn't go that way. This is the review is a product of an organized and comprehensive scientific planning, no? Now, the post-registration, of course, we are going to assist you on that and the requirements for practice. And we should do it as soon as possible because we don't want the change to come in, no? All right, so let's talk about the ASMERT skills assessment. Okay. The ASMERT skills assessment, so this is the skills assessing body. If you are applying for residency in Australia, so for example, general skilled migration or the subclass 186 transition.
Mm,
Okay, if we can mute ourselves. All right. So in order to become an immigrant in Australia, you need to apply for residency, which may come from different stream, no? Say, for example, the general skilled migration stream. This is a points-tested visa, which I'm going to discuss later. So this needs the skills assessment, and the skills assessing body for RadTech is the ASMERT, no? And next is the subclass 186 transition or direct stream. So we do have two kinds of 186. One is the transition stream, and the other one is the direct stream. There is another stream which is the labor agreement, but I'm not going to discuss that. We have the transition and the direct. The direct means like an employer is giving you a job and is sponsoring you for permanent residency right away. So you are not going to wait for the invitation coming from the government because the employer would like to sponsor you for direct PR. You see, that's very good. And you are going to work with the employer for 3 years. No? Then after 4 years, you become a citizen already. So 3 years from 1 year, 4 years. So you become citizen right away. Now, GSM, the General Skilled Migration, and the subclass 186 needs the skills assessment. That is a mandatory requirement because you cannot apply for residency for GSM or subclass 186 without the mandatory skills assessment. that is provided in Migration Regulations Act of 1994. Now, with medical diagnostic radiographer, the skills assessment is being carried out by ASMERT, no? Okay, being carried out by ASMERT. So, ASMERT, how does ASMERT, no? How does ASMERT assess your qualifications? Number one, it's all about documents. You will not be interviewed. It's all you are going to provide evidence, no? If you are if you are claiming to be a registered rad tech, you are going to submit a board certificate, no? You're going to submit the TOR, you're going to submit your employment certificate. So those are the things that you are going to submit. Say, for example, the experience. So ASMERT requires a number of documents which the candidate has to comply. RPS and ACT can help you fulfill these requirements. You need at least 2 years of experience in the field. As you can see, there is a difference, right? With APRA and ASMERT. APRA needs only 1 year of experience. ASMERT needs 2 years of experience, right? So therefore, if you have 1 year of experience, your pathway is APRA. But if you have 2 years of experience, your pathway could be or are APRA and ASMERT, no? And should it be paid? No? Should it be can a volunteer job be included? No? So we are going to provide you samples of the certificate of employment for that experience. What are the things that you need to include in that experience so that you are demonstrating the modalities that ASMERT wants, no? Because ASMERT is very specific. They have their own matrix, which they do not share, of course. So that's why what we do, no, we have our own matrix, we have our own analysis at RPS ACT, then we are submitting your application. Mind you that, for example, we have to the same we have two applicants who graduated from the same school, same year, no, same year, but different fields of experience. So when we submit that, one is approved and the other one is rejected. So what's the difference, right? So those are the things that we are going to discuss with you, no? Again, with the English proficiency, we do have PTE academic all 66, right? So that's part of the change. So have a you can have a single sitting only, I think. So in ASMERT, they don't allow the combination. Okay, so but my policy is for you to have one sitting only of all 66. Why 66? ASMERT requires only 65 because that is also required in registration. So I amended that to 66 already. So the continuing professional development. So as you can see here, the continuing professional development for ASMERT requires that you must have it for the last 3 years, no? For the last 3 years, and they have the hours. They have the hours of the number of hours which we do have in our requirements that we will send you, no, once you register with us. Now the school and the PRC requirements, the degree certificate, the TOR, the birth certificate, of course your identity documents. Say for example, your passport, no, what is the name that you are going to use if you change your name. So we are going to provide you advice on that. Now, so as mentioned, no, earlier, with the PTE review, unlimited access. The moment you register with us, you are going to have access with the PTE review. And in 4 weeks' time, you are very much ready. But if you are a fast learner, you can have it in a week or 2 weeks. There are like myriad of activities, and you can submit several submissions, and we are going to check your submissions right away. We do have the comprehensive feedback because we do have the rubric that the PTE is using. We are going to use the PTE materials only. No, we're not going to use any other materials being provided by other by other authors or whatever. We are going to use PTE materials provided by PTE. Now, the interactive activity is a self-managed with manageable interface. No? You have the unlimited practice and you are ready in the next 4 weeks. Now let's look at the flow of our application. Number one is registration. So what happens here is that we are going to have the pre-assessment. So remember, the moment you send a message to us, we do have the form. And that form is very important because there are several questions there that are related to migration. So you from the moment you register with us, you have been assessed not only on your registration, but also on your chances of becoming an immigrant. No? Sometimes I have a client came to me, no? She did in nursing, not in grad tech. She did it herself with the OSCE and everything. And now she is applying for residency. But unfortunately, the client is not qualified because something or someone from the members of the family is not complying with the medical condition. You see? So that's very dangerous. That's very risky. So she will just stay on a working visa because she hasn't she hasn't realized that having that medical condition would greatly affect the application for residency, no? So in um that that poor thing, no? So that's why from the outset we are giving the advice whether or not you will get your residency, no? So we do have as well the PTE learning review. The good thing about RPS ACT is that we walk the talk, no? We are not inventing something which we do not have. We have everything. We have the deliverables, we have the infrastructure, we do have the facilities which you can use and the things that we, no? And the things that we offer the documentation. So this is a stress-free documentation. So we are going to provide you what are the things to be documented. If you are claiming for something, you have to provide evidence or demonstrate evidence, no? Of course, with MRP review, who who has no who is a migration agency that has its own training facility, no? It's only RPS Migration. It's the lone migration firm that has its own training center in Australia. So that's the difference of RPS. We are going to assist you in your lodgement in APRA, lodgement of ASMERT, of course the AOI, provided that you pass the ASMERT. So if you get the successful um, if you get the successful skills assessment from ASMERT, then we are going to proceed with EOI. Then once you get invited, you have the visa application right away. No? So therefore, in Australia, you can become a resident without becoming a a registered rad tech. So that's possible because APRA and ASMERT are two different organizations. Unlike no? Unlike with nurses, you must be first a registered nurse in order to pass and mark the skills assessing body. But with RadTech, it's different. And I think this is where the change will come in, no? In the next few months, no, maybe next year, okay? So therefore, no, it is good to secure your registration now, no? So maybe they are going to have the theoretical and the clinical, no? For RadTech in order to be consistent with other medical professionals like PT, nurses, midwives, dentists, doctors. All right. So only MedTech and RadTech uh, are the uh, are the professions that don't have the clinical side of the examination. It's only the theoretical side as of the moment. Okay. Now let's talk about the general skilled migration. This comes in once you pass your ASMRT. Okay. So if you are not passing your ASMRT, then there is no skilled migration to speak of as of the moment. Now, RPS Migration Services prioritizes a general skilled migration program on its fast track registration to residency. It is a points tested visa, meaning to say that you have the attributes that have the associated points and you must score at least 65, no? You must score at least 65 um on average. So where do this and you must be less than 45 years old. Let me see. For your age, for example, if you are between 32 to if you are between 25 to 32, you get like 30 points, no? If you have the English proficiency, for example, of all 66, so you got like 10 points. Experience, if you have 8 years and above, you have 15 points. If you have 3 years only, you have 5 points. And if you are in between, you have 10 points. For your educational qualifications, no 15 points for Bachelor of Rad Tech status. Say, for example, if you are single, you get 10 points. If you are married, you get 5 points, provided that your partner or your spouse will sit for the English test. The credential community language is very important. This is additional 5 points. And only RPS and ACT, no, give you free review for CCL. It is also interactive e-learning hub, no? And other points. Where are the other points coming from? Say, for example, if you have a relative in Australia and if you lack points and your relative live in a regional area, that is 10 points, no? What else? If you study in Australia, you have like 5 points. Now let's talk about the costs and charges, no, of your migration. So of course, coming to Australia is an investment because this is a first world country and there are several benefits that you would be enjoying, no, in the years to come. Say for example, myself, no, I am now an immigrant in Australia, or you have friends who are now immigrants in Australia. Now on Facebook, you will see your friends enjoying the weather, enjoying the different things which they haven't thought, no, before, right? So now it is also your time, no, to do the same, no, to change your life and look at the costs that you are associated in your migration plan. So these are some of the costs only, no. So and these are the government fees. Say for example, your qualification assessment payable to APRA. These will not go to RPS. No, these are payable to the government and third-party organization in Australia. Examination seating fee, 742. Skills assessment, 968. Application fee for general registration, 209 if you pass the exam. Pearson, 350. The review is 1,850 AUD. So these are some of the government fees. What is not included here is the cost of the visa once you get invited, because that's still very far. And you are going to know the cost of the visa once you lodge the visa. So it is available in the website. No? So these are the government fees. The fees may change without prior notice. So going to we are going to give you no the information. So, and you are not going to pay this at once, no? So you are going to pay this if you avail, for example, if you ask APRA to assess you, 388. If you are going to sit for the exam, 742. What if you fail the exam? Are you going to pay 742 again? Of course. No, every time you fail, 742. Skills assessment, no, you're going to pay it directly to them. So these are the government fees, and our service fee is in progressive billing, on the other hand, right? So um we are going to discuss our service fee, no, uh to our clients, no, who would have the one-on-one interaction with our case officer. And you will see that it is progressive billing, meaning to say that if there is something happening in your application, then you are paying us, except of course for opening the file or the down payment, no. Say for example, we lodge APRA and we lodge ASMERT. You didn't pass ASMERT, so we go to APRA only. No, you are not proceeding with the OI, you aren't proceeding with the visa application yet. So that's the beauty of our application. So if you spend, no, if you have invested, of course, there must be return of your investment in Australia. What are the benefits of immigrants in Australia? And of course, the healthcare access. You will have the Medicare, who never gets old, who never gets sick. Everyone does, no? So, therefore, you must have the Medicare. So if you are sick, go to the doctor, get checked, then that's free. Educational opportunities. So many immigrants can access public education for their children, as well as subsidize higher educational opportunities. Programs are often available to help improve English language skills. That's free, no? Social security benefits, of course, the family tax benefit, the childcare subsidy, and other designed to support families. Settlement services. So we do have as well employment assistance. Say, for example, if you are a registered RadTech and you are a resident in Australia, if you want to ask for assistance in getting the job, you can go to Centrelink. No, you can go there and ask for how to get the unemployment. You see, cultural and community support, the language program, legal assistance, of course, housing assistance, for example, if you are struggling, no, support for senior immigrants, and more. Okay, so you see, there is a lot, no? There is a lot of things that you can get, no? That you may get from becoming an immigrant in Australia. So in order for you, no, to progress your application, that it should not remain a dream, you should, no, you should WhatsApp us at +61 415 831 158, or you go back to your case officer. Because if you have, for example, interacted with our case officer, then they will give you the proper advice, and then we are very much ready to help you. You don't need to look somewhere else, because we are here ready to help. And of course, let's beat the changes, no? Let's beat the changes, act now, and we are going to assess your qualifications, and it is short time to migrate to Australia. Okay, so with that, I would like to thank everyone, no, for being present today. I really appreciate your presence today. And hopefully, I can help you and I can see you all in Australia. And who knows, in the future, you have your own houses, you have your own job in Australia, and happily living in Australia. So it is not far from happening because we are here for you. All right. So thank you so much, guys, and have a lovely afternoon. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.